I want to see if we can break this down for a moment with criminal defense attorney Mercedes Colwin, who joins me now on the phone. Mercedes, you just heard that update. So the jury has not come to a consensus on the racketeering charge, but has come to a consensus on counts 2 through 5, 2 counts of sex trafficking by force, 2 counts of transportation for prostitution. We don't know yet what the jury has decided, but what do you read into what we know so far?
Well, certainly they struggled with racketeering, and a lot of defense attorneys looking at that particular charge know that it is a very difficult charge in order for the jury to come back and convict individuals. It is difficult. It has lots of testimony came in, 34 witnesses. It has multiple layers of analysis, so it's not a surprise that the jury is still still deliberate, depending on what the judge does. The rest, sex trafficking was easy. I mean, we heard already the notes that were actually delivered in court today, where the jury wanted to have readbacks from Cassie Ventura's testimony. And Cassie Ventura is a very key figure in the prosecution, in the successful prosecution in this case, because she talked about the force, the coercion, the beatings, the freak-offs, what she was required to do at the hands of a violent, very violent relationship with Combs. So that was very easy. And then the prostitution was equally easy when you talk about all the flight information, like CB recounted for your audience, that they went through in painstaking details all of the information regarding the transportation of the escorts to these freak-offs across the country. So those were 2 very easy types of counts to get a successful conviction. With respect to Jane Doe, it all depends on whether or not the jury believed her. I mean, Jane Doe had to acknowledge during cross-examination that Combs still paid $10,000 a month to her for her expenses. So, of course, that sort of, at least in the juror's mind, may sway them one way or the other whether or not she is a credible witness. And what if not? What is she seeking in this relationship that she had terminated a while ago? So if the judge, and frankly, I'm certain this judge will, with some certainty, he will really push for that Allen charge. This has been a 2-month trial. It's exhaustive in terms of all the time and money and resources that were put into this particular trial. The prosecution is pushing very hard for the judge to direct the jurors to get back in the deliberation room and try to go through the racketeering count. It does, as I said, there are multiple layers of analysis that's going to be needed, but if they do deliberate and they are hung, that's going to be remaining. It can be a partial verdict. And then if it is a hung jury with respect to that particular count, if they can't come to a conclusion with that, then the prosecution has to decide whether they should try to retry Combs on that particular count. And I'm not a betting person, I doubt that the prosecution would do that. If you're looking at what the counts, if those other counts are successful, if it is a consecutive type of penalty given, and each one of those are successful, he could spend about 40 years in prison when you count up all those counts. But if it's concurrent, then it's 10 years, 10 years plus.
Okay, let's discuss this together and make sure we understand it for everyone watching at home, including myself, on layman's terms. Both you and CB have mentioned an Allen charge. Would you explain to us so that we understand the Allen charge?
Well, the Allen charge is simply a directive to the jury to go back in the deliberation room and continue the deliberations of the counts that remain. The one single count that remains that's needed to be discussed and deliberated to see if there is a possibility of coming to a conclusion. And and you may remember that there was a note from the foreperson yesterday where juror number 25, it was identified in court that juror 25 was having some difficulty in following the judge's instructions. And a lot of individuals looking at this trial and analyzing the trial believe that it may have been the racketeering count that was perplexing this particular juror, if that's in fact what was taking place in the deliberation. So not a surprise. It is a difficult charge to begin with, difficult jury instructions, and lots of layers of analysis in order to come to a conclusion one way or the other.
All right, on our television screens, we have seen more family members coming into the courtroom, more of Sean Combs' family making their way in to the courtroom. The other 4 charges that the jury was capable of coming to a consensus on, Mercedes, do you have a sense? I know that on Cassie Ventura's 2 counts against her, you felt fairly confident in the jury's ability to reach a guilty verdict, less so on Jane's. But coming back saying we have a consensus on 4, but not on racketeering, does that give you any indication of what you think the verdict will be on those 4?
Well, if looking the fact that the readbacks literally give you such an indication when it comes to trying to determine what the outcome is of a trial. The readbacks were not of both Jane Doe and Cassie. The readback was only of Cassie Ventura. And the focus was on Daniel Phillips, and he was the escort that testified that he observed the beating of Cassie Ventura. And what that's going to be, if I were to say this is maybe split down the middle, where the counts regarding Cassie Ventura, which is count 2, that's sex trafficking, and count 3 with respect to transporting people for prostitution, that the jury will come back and convict Combs on those 2, and then with Jane Doe, possibly acquit him. Because of what I said, that what during the cross-examination was she had to admit about the fact that there was continuing payment for her expenses.
You're talking about the questions from the jury, the readout, give you some indication, perhaps, of where they are in their minds before we know their verdict. If you're right, exactly right. Mercedes, if you read this correctly, that potentially what you're looking at is guilty on 2 charges, right?
Yep.
One, sex trafficking by force, and the other, transportation for prostitution. I have here in front of me, sex trafficking by force carries with it the potential for 15 to life. Transportation for prostitution carries with it the potential for 0 to 10 years in prison. You brought up consecutive versus concurrent, so that everybody understands. Right. If those charges and those prison sentences ran concurrently, that means they wouldn't be stacked on top of one another. He could potentially be in for 15 years in total. If they run consecutively, it could be potentially the 15 years for sex trafficking, and then starts the clock on the 10 years potentially for transportation for prostitution. The reason I bring this to you and to the audience is that will impact the prosecution, right? Do they want more? Is that enough? And will they push for a racketeering consensus if they don't get it here?
If Combs were a 20-year-old, maybe the prosecutors would say we should absolutely retry racketeering. But he's in his 50s. And someone who's going to then potentially serve 15, 20, 25 years in prison, let's just say, obviously, hypothetically, all of which he doesn't have a criminal record. I'm not sure what the judge will do in that. And there's you can expect loads of mitigation as to why this should happen to him. And they should be very lenient with respect to the sentencing of Combs. But even so, I mean, let's say he serves 20 years, he's going to be 75 years old at that point. As the prosecutors, when they talk about whether or not to re-prosecute someone, is a 75-year-old at that point really a threat to society as someone that's already paid for the crimes that he's been convicted of? So if I were working at the DOJ, I would say if those 2 counts alone, if it is not concurrent but consecutive, that's enough for us, and walk away and say we've defeated him, and giving a pretty substantial time to serve in jail.
Okay. Mercedes Colwin, thank you so much for hopping on the phone with us to help us understand what we're watching unfold before us right now at a Manhattan federal court there in New York City. Various family members making their way in. You can see there back into the courtroom while they wait to hear from the jury on the consensus they've reached on 4 of the 5 charges against Sean Diddy Combs. The jury has come back and said no consensus at this time on the racketeering charge. It's going to put the prosecution in a position of trying to decide whether or not to retry Combs if they don't get the potential sentence they want on whatever of those counts come back guilty. Hey, it's Will Cain. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Cain podcast for full episodes right now.